Ireland, along with many other countries in the world, has a budding dairy industry. Our climate is perfectly suited to dairy production because it's ideal for growing grass and fodder crops. Virtually every part of the country has its own particular version of a dairy landscape. Our people take pride in the industry and we are passionate about farming. Having a highly skilled workforce ensures high standards of quality and production. The cooperative sector is constantly evolving and we are always searching for new opportunities, new growth platforms and new innovations to remain sustainable. Today, cooperatives are needed more than ever to help find solutions to common problems such as poverty, inequality and sustainable humanity. It is this need to ensure sustainable cooperatives for the future that is the driving force behind our involvement in the Fields project.
Good afternoon, everyone. Whilst I cannot be with you in person, I wanted to share with you insights from an Irish perspective, demonstrating the value that the Fields project brings in supporting the National Skills Agenda in Ireland. Over the last number of years, we have seen a significant growth of the food and drink sector, with increased focus on sustainability and traceability, and increased integration of ICT tools, regulatory requirements, and of science-based product innovation. With an 85% increase in exports anticipated over the next number of years, the industry recognizes that skills and talent will be essential to support this trend. This is why we are involved in the Fields project. In order to demonstrate this to you, I'm not just going to do this, not just me telling you on my own, but rather I spoke to two of our industry stakeholders, Orla Tynan, who's the head of sustainability for one of our largest cooperatives, Dairy Gold, and James O'Donnell, who is a farmer, and to see what this project means for them. So let me start first of all with Orla. What was your experience of the participation in the focus group? How did you enjoy that? What was the view of Dairy Gold, and why was it important for Dairy Gold to participate in the focus group with us? Bearing in mind we looked at areas of the bioeconomy and sustainability and digitalization. So what was important for you?
So Billy, thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to participate in the skills focus group. I actually learned a lot through the engagement with other parties whom you had brought together on the day. I got a lot of insights into the challenges that they face and what they think are the key skills within their area. I also got to hear from industry colleagues within the dairy sector, and it was interesting for me to hear what they consider to be important for their organisation to move forward on the people agenda. And for us in Dairy Gold, people are very much at the core of our strategy. We have one of our values is about people development. So we are constantly focused on how do we help people to develop and how do we prepare for the future. So participating in the skills group gave me great insights into what's coming down the tracks and what other people are considering as important. And it also helped me to maybe elicit my perspective and Dairy Gold's perspective more clearly.
Do you think there's a benefit of participating in the Fields project in terms of the impact on industry and the long-term impact in terms of what we're trying to achieve?
Yes, I thought it was a very beneficial process, Billy, the process that we went through on the day in terms of eliciting the bringing about the clarity with regard to the skills that are required across various industries. And it helps us to shape our direction as we move forward, helps us to shape our people strategy, our people engagement strategy, and also how we develop our leaders to work on core areas, whether it's sustainability or elements within that, whether, like the bioeconomy or other key themes. Look, through the participation in the skills group, it was great to hear the conversation that evolved and the learnings that other people shared. So one organisation talked about what they were doing on biorefining of grass. So I found that very interesting because, we see grass as something that's consumed by livestock, but to think that actually other values could be derived from it that have significance beyond the regular core use, I thought was very interesting. So it gave me some very useful insights for how we can consider alternative technologies that may enhance our sustainability as we move forward.
And Ola, if you think of the kind of the growth trajectory of the food and drink sector in Ireland, and we see things like 85% increase in exports coming down the line, some focus on, say, science-based innovation products and things like that. Do you see any kind of correlation between what the Fields project is trying to achieve in terms of identifying future skills and how that could support the kind of national policy drivers? And Dairygold, of course.
Look, there's so much evolving in this space. And I think we need to identify what are the skills that we need to have to future-proof ourselves. We're cognizant all the time of what's emerging from a policy perspective or consumer trends perspective. So projects such as the Fields Skills Focus Group was very helpful in bringing clarity to those themes, and then also helping to clarify what are the skills that are needed to support our development in those arenas.
If I ask you one final question then, what was your biggest takeaway from the day?
The wealth of knowledge that exists out there in a broader network, and so with our industry peers for one, but also with other stakeholders that operate in other industries. We're all facing fairly common challenges, no matter which sector we're operating within, but there's a lot of people who have a lot of insights that are very helpful, and that I think the networking piece has been helpful to help me in my role as the head of sustainability in Dairygold. Have
you ever kind of felt that as a business leader or head of sustainability that you're on your own? And would have this and participating in this focus group kind of given you any different insights around that maybe?
Billy, that's a great point, and we all like to talk about sustainability, and in many ways it's a word that is used incredibly often by so many, but actually when it comes to dealing with identifying the challenges of sustainability and more importantly the route forward and the pathways to deal with them, it can feel that one is a bit alone. So it is great through the focus group to have identified others that have that similar challenge, and to hear the perspectives that they have. And they also provide a very useful network for me to reach out to bounce ideas off of, or to get their insights into my thinking and help to challenge and build on that.
Skills development is high on the agenda for not only for ICOS but also for Dairygold, as Ola has clearly demonstrated. Skills is part of their people strategy, which is one of their core pillars within their business strategy. And now I want to get the view of James O'Donnell, a farmer from County Tipperary in Ireland. So James, the focus groups ran recently and you participated in that as a farmer, and we were looking particularly at the skills needs and kind of identifying current and future skills in relation to sustainability, the bioeconomy, digitalization, and business and entrepreneurship. How did you feel in terms of participating in that working group, and what did you take from that?
It made me concentrate on the new technologies that are being used in agriculture and are being brought in with fantastic effect to farmers and people, young farmers in particular, on the ground, particularly the likes of using the mobile phone apps to monitor lots of different operations on the farm. And it made me go and look at some of the technologies that are available and use them on my farm.
Are there any of those particular technologies that have specifically worked for you that you kind of maybe didn't know about, or that you would have thought about following that focus group?
One of them in particular, where I was having a little bit of problem with some calving problems on the farm, and I was feeding the animals minerals. So I decided to go and feed them through the water system, and that's constantly monitored on my phone, and I know exactly what they're getting per day, how many gallons of water they're drinking per day. That's just one of the ways that it has helped me on the farm.
Yeah. And did you see kind of digitalization as being a core skill that maybe you would have required?
As a farmer, to stay connected with modern farming methods, it is digitalization has to be the way forward for all farmers, not just the likes of me, but in particular the younger farmers. They're a lot more uh, clued into digitalization rather than what I am, but it was a skill that I didn't have because of my age, I suppose.
Well, one of the key areas we kind of looked at in terms of skills and kind of identifying future trends was this idea of the bioeconomy and sustainability. And I was just wondering what sustainability means for you as a farmer, for your farm business.
We as farmers are protectors of the environment and have always looked after the environment on the farm. I have a farm of roughly 150 acres and I milk about 100 cows roughly, and it has always been important for me to have good hedgerows, that the water quality, there's a stream going through my farm which supplies the local river, and the water quality is tested regularly, so it's very important for me to have that there's no runoff from the farm and that the farm is kept in a top class condition.
How do you think that the Fields Project would support initiatives such as bioenergy through the bioeconomy strand of the project?
Billy, as after being at the focus group meetings, I looked at solar energy and putting up solar panels on the roofs of my sheds. I have a lot of sheds which are suitable for putting solar panels on, and hopefully I will get to putting on some panels to save me buying in energy from the national grid and to make my farm more sustainable. We as farmers are given the land to mind it and protect it in our lifetime and to pass it on to the next generation in a better position than what it was when we got it.
In terms of your participation on the group, and we had some farmers, yourself and Maura McCarthy, we had we had some education providers, Mary Buckley from UCC, we had some sustainability managers from the cooperative. How did you find that kind of mix of people and interacting with those people?
Every day is a learning day, and I met people in that at that focus group that I wouldn't meet here on the farm. I wouldn't meet anybody on the farm, but when I went to the focus groups, I met different peoples in different walks of life.
So as you can see, not only is this project important to industry and the agricultural sector, but also to the farmers across our agricultural sector in Ireland, as James has clearly demonstrated in what he's told us. I just want to end off by saying thank you very much for giving ICOS the opportunity to present at the ISEKI-Food Conference. We fully support this project. We are fully committed to ensuring that the whole of Europe benefits from this project. So thank you very much and enjoy the rest of your day at the conference.